Yeah, it's all coming out. The truth shall set you free. Sophie, one half of the Blonde Bombers, Sophie the Trophy Cunningham, launched her new podcast, and boy, she exposing the WNBA. Y'all are getting exposed for the nasty work y'all was doing. We said over and over again, and people tried to act like us, Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever fans, were crazy and being soft when we said, yo, she's clearly being targeted.
Sophie Cunningham just dropped a truth bomb the size of a WNBA basketball. Turns out some players aren't just playing defense, they're plotting demolition. Jealousy? Check. Cheap shots? Check. A league-wide Mean Girls sequel? Absolutely. And Caitlin Clark? She's the unlucky star of this messy high school drama disguised as pro basketball. Buckle up, because this expose has more drama than a Kardashian group chat. Sophie's spilling tea hotter than a courtside nacho tray in July.
Sophie, if they didn't like you then, they sure aren't going to like you now. Sophie Cunningham has been making waves with the new podcast that she is now featured in, courtesy of The Volume. Sophie Cunningham letting it all out and not holding back one bit. She calls out the old guard. She calls out the people out there who refuse to say Caitlin Clark is the face of the league.
If Caitlin Clark quit the WNBA tomorrow, half the league would need therapy. ESPN would cancel a third of its summer programming, and fans like you, the ride-or-die, game-watching, stat-memorizing, team-knowing kind, would simply switch off the lights and walk out like it's the series finale of your favorite show. There'd be a nationwide shortage of WNBA memes and mid-game Twitter rants.
She's the most flagrantly fouled player in the league. She gets hacked and grabbed all over the floor, knocked to the floor when the ball's not even in play. The refs don't call anything. Kathy Engelberg act like she got vision like Stevie Wonder, and she don't see any of this. This is ridiculous. She's the cash cow. She's the reason that people are even watching all of this. She's the reason for all of this stuff. And she is blatantly, clearly being targeted. Clearly. And everybody act like we was making it up. Now we have Sophie Cunningham, a member of the Indiana Fever who was with the Phoenix Mercury last year, who's giving us insight to the conversations that were happening with the targeting toward Caitlin Clark. It was never about basketball, ladies and gentlemen.
And let's be honest, some of these players wouldn't mind if she left. In fact, a suspicious number of them might show up to her retirement press conference with balloons and party hats. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Caitlin Clark is the league, not a part of it, not growing into it. She's the full package, the face, the poster, the headline, and the reason those nosebleed seats aren't empty. The one name that gets casual fans to sit through a full Sky Versus. Fever game with genuine interest, even when Caitlin's teammates are collectively shooting like they've been cursed by a rim-dwelling goblin.
There's only one face of the WNBA. There's only one person that has casuals sitting down in front of a TV, glued to their sofa, watching the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham also talks about how teams target being rough with Caitlin Clark. We gotta toughen her up. We gotta rough her up a little bit. We gotta really show her what it's like over here in the WNBA. And Sophie Cunningham says there's how we treat rookies, and then we had to add a little something extra for Caitlin Clark. She also talks about defending Caitlin Clark in that viral Connecticut Sun game and what the locker room chatter was between her and Caitlin Clark.
You take her out, and it's not just Indiana that collapses. It's the whole WNBA illusion of growth. And this isn't new. It's not some shocking revelation we just discovered in aisle 5 next to the discounted Lynx jerseys. People have been screaming it into the void since college. Last year, this year, next year, it doesn't matter. The warning signs are flashing, the fandom is fragile, and if Caitlin ever gets fed up enough to say I'm out, there's going to be a cataclysmic drop in engagement that no TikTok dance or sparkly rebrand can save.
Number one, how about her podcast? She's already got 122,000 views in one damn day. And that's just the YouTube side. This podcast, I believe, is on The Volume, which is Colin Cowherd's podcast network. So that's a lot of views.
Enter Sophie Cunningham. Sophie is that delightful, chaotic, neutral character in the basketball multiverse who refuses to read the script. While the rest of the league is playing it cool, pretending there's no drama, Sophie's throwing confetti and yelling, "Y'all see this, right?" She's not just the player who shows up, she's the player who shows out. A legit baller with a jumper and a joke, someone who could guard your best player and also roast your fashion sense without blinking, which is exactly why her going full scorched earth on the podcast, breaking down how players are intentionally targeting Caitlyn like she's wearing a jersey that says, "Hit me, I'm famous," was the moment we all needed. Because let's get real. This isn't just a rookie adjustment phase. Caitlyn's not getting roughed up because she's a newbie. She's getting bounced around like a pinball because she's Caitlyn Clark. The jealousy is thicker than WNBA contract clauses. Sophie just had the guts to say it out loud, and with better comedic timing than half the stand-up scene.
And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're done.
And she wasn't wrong. Every game's a new episode of Who Wants to Foul Caitlyn Today? It's like a league-wide hazing ritual disguised as tough love defense. Elbows in the ribs, mystery whistles, phantom calls. It's like the refs are playing Mario Kart and Caitlyn's the banana peel. Meanwhile, her teammates are stuck in defensive limbo, and the league keeps gaslighting everyone by pretending it's all part of the learning curve. But Sophie, she sees it, and she says it. The league has been tiptoeing around the Caitlyn problem, but Sophie came in with cleats on, and fans ate it up, because it was a 1-hour blast of clarity, charisma, and chaos, the kind of tell-all energy the WNBA desperately needs. Not another beige press release or vague statement about respecting all athletes. Sophie dropped bars like she was trying out for a rap battle, and for the first time in a while, everyone was listening. Because the truth is, Caitlyn isn't just taking hits, she's taking heat. She's not being welcomed, she's being warned. You're not one of us yet.
Yeah, this Caitlyn Clark friendship like a cow. She was on somebody's podcast and said, when people try to argue she's not the face of the league, you're dumb as shit. Now, mind you, face of the league and most popular are two different things. I don't think she's the face of the league, but I think she's the most popular in some sections.
That's the vibe. And it's weird because on every ad, every highlight reel, and every major network, there she is. Again, and again, and again. It's almost like the league's using her face to sell the product while pretending she's not the main attraction. Like a restaurant putting a celebrity chef on the poster but making them wash dishes in the back. You can't have it both ways, WNBA. Either she's the future or she's the problem, but you don't get to cash in on the former while allowing the latter. And that's what Sophie cracked wide open. That delicious paradox where the league leans on Caitlyn for ticket sales, media buzz, and cultural relevance, and yet acts like protecting her would somehow be favoritism. Meanwhile, Sophie's over here giving the league free PR by just being herself. Funny, weird, confident, unfiltered, like if Chandler Bing had a three-point shot and a ponytail. She's the kind of player who could single-handedly turn a post-game presser into a late-night comedy sketch.
Shout out to Sophie Cunningham, aka the Pink Power Ranger, and Wes Wilson. They have a podcast called Show Me Something that they just launched. And yeah, I'm tuned in. So look, what we all been witnessing right before our eyes about our precious CC, my precious CC, Caitlyn Clark, for the ones who didn't know. So basically, she was saying that when they was preparing, when she was on the other team before she came to the Indiana Fever, we talking about Sophie Cunningham. She was basically saying that the Phoenix Mercury players were basically game planning and saying that they was going to assault her.
And she's easy on the eyes? Sure, but that's just the garnish. The entree is that she's got game, guts, and Google search-worthy quotes. She's not afraid to challenge the status quo while wearing glitter eyeliner and dropping 20 points on your head. A unicorn with Wi-Fi and a vertical leap. We stan. So when someone like that steps up and defends Caitlyn, not in a patronizing way, but in a cut the crap kind of way, you listen. Because she's not reading a script. She's not doing it for clout. She's doing it because she loves the game enough to call out the parts that suck. And let's be real. If more players had that energy, this league would be in a better place. Because if Caitlyn left tomorrow, it wouldn't just be a loss, it'd be an implosion. The domino effect would be brutal. casual fans gone, merchandise sales down, TV deals reevaluated, the energy would flatline. And folks like you, the ones who watch every team, know every bench warmer, and tune in for random Tuesday games just because Caitlin might cross someone over, you'd be gone too. Game over.
And one thing I like about Sophie is that she's tough. So when Caitlin Clark last week, or not last week, a couple days ago, when Caitlin Clark got destroyed, her girl Sophie came to her defense, and this was the most beast mode thing that I've seen a woman do in WNBA history. A little bit of LeBron James-esque type behavior. LeBron James literally flops every time somebody touch him. And I think that Caitlin Clark flopped a little bit. I'm just saying, she kind of drastic. You know, her eyes, oh, my eyeballs. And then they hit her and she fly across the... I don't think that girl that's number 3 ain't that strong.
So yeah, Sophie said what needed to be said. Loudly, hilariously, unapologetically. And honestly, we need more of that. We need more Sophies. Because the league isn't just about what happens on the court, it's about what's allowed to happen. And right now, it's looking a little rigged, a little jealous, and a whole lot ungrateful. But lucky for the WNBA, Caitlin's still here for now. And as long as she's suiting up, we're watching closely. Every game, every foul. Not because of the basketball, oh no, that ship's been listing like a drunken pirate, but because it's now a weekly reality show called Survivor, Caitlin Clark edition. Will she get leveled at midcourt again? Will a ref go blind during an elbow to her face? Will a former all-star break into interpretive dance mid-possession just to distract her? It's chaos, and not the fun kind. It's the WNBA's new normal, and somehow you're still watching. Eyes wide, popcorn in hand, rage building.
But in this case, Sophie Cunningham is not afraid to tell it like it is. You know, Aaliyah Boston, another member of the Fever, who has a podcast. I talked about that earlier. That launching with Candace Parker, Post Moves. And now Sophie Cunningham joins the list of WNBA players with a podcast or an outlet like that. Of course, you know, there are plenty. Angel Reese has hers. The Stud Buds have their platform. So there are plenty of WNBA stars with an outlet like that. And now Cunningham has Show Me Something with TV personality Wes Wilson. So
here's the twist. You're also this close to walking away. Because the WNBA is speed running its way to becoming the most unlikable professional league on earth. It's genuinely impressive how fast they've alienated new fans. They could teach a class. How to ruin momentum 101. Gaslight your star, weaponize jealousy, and blame the fans. You, like so many others, are a new viewer. Fresh to the fold, eyes wide open, credit card ready for merch, subscriptions locked and loaded. And now, you're starting to wonder if the merch should have come with a return label. You came in hyped, curious. So yeah, it's a shame. A league with this much potential, this much talent, and this much historical grit should be soaring. Instead, it's throwing elbows at the one player who could actually save it. It's like giving CPR to the paramedic who showed up to rescue you. Just baffling.
I think some of that is exactly what Sophie said, but I also think that she's defined herself as the enforcer now, and I think the fact that her teammates have her back and they're going to stand up for her is what they've been waiting for. The question is, will the refs?
Which is why Sophie Cunningham has now officially graduated to Caitlin Clark's enforcer. Not an assistant, not a sidekick. We're talking full-blown, old-school hockey-style bodyguard. You mess with CC, Sophie's showing up like she's billing the league by the bruise. One moment she's draining threes with a smirk, the next, she's out there spiritually suplexing the haters with a well-timed podcast rant, and somehow she's making it look fun, like she's been waiting her whole life to roast fake allies and body-check bitter veterans who can't handle the fact that Gen Z doesn't need their approval to dominate headlines. Spicy chicken sandwich collab incoming. Sophie biting into a burger and saying, "This hits harder than the Connecticut Sun." Marketing gold. Wow wrestling, obviously. Sophie walking out to a stadium full of screaming fans, elbow pads on, mic in hand, calling out every player who's ever whispered overrated behind Caitlin's back. Crowd goes wild. Somebody faints.
You have seen players in our league try to toughen up Caitlin. We call her CC. CC. For even when I wasn't on her team, I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of no, we're gonna prove her, we're gonna show her what the W really is. You know what I mean? And I get it to a certain extent. And every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're gonna treat them. But there's just more for her. So it's her second year, and now being on her team and seeing it, I'm what are people doing? Actually, it's just too much.
And now look at the result. Not cool.
The Volume Podcast, naturally. Because when you've got hot takes hotter than a mid-July Phoenix bench and you deliver them with that blend of sarcasm, sincerity, and low-key violence, the people want more. They demand more. The mic is her weapon, and the truth is her finishing move. And this, my friends, is called the CC effect. One rookie shows up, drops 30-footers like confetti, shatters viewership records, and brings in a fan base with more loyalty than a Marvel fandom. And suddenly, everything shifts. Ratings explode. Twitter timelines combust. Opposing players forget how to dribble because they're too busy composing subtweets mid-game. Together, they're building the league's first real buddy cop narrative. The sharpshooter and the muscle. The phenom and the chaos agent. The rookie queen and the dunking diplomat of Don't You Dare. And the fans? They're locked in. Not just because of Caitlyn's game, but because of Sophie's game plan. Because she's giving everyone permission to call it what it is. Weird, petty, rigged, and desperate. And she's doing it while dropping buckets, cracking jokes, and rolling her eyes so hard they're visible from space.
Sophie Cunningham just confirmed what we already knew, but putting it out there on paper that the WNBA players purposely target Caitlin Clark in a different way than all the other players. Now, Sophie, as we know, was not on our team last year and was with the Phoenix Mercury, and this is what she had to say about players targeting Caitlin.
The WNBA wants growth, but it's resisting the very people pulling it forward. And Sophie's not just clapping back, she's monetizing the backlash. While other players play it safe, Sophie's building a legacy with side quests, sound bites, and sandwich deals. She's turning loyalty into leverage and friendship into franchise. Because here's what the league forgot. People don't just want dunks, they want stories. They want heroes, villains, plot twists. Sophie and Caitlyn are giving them characters with flavor, not cardboard. And in a league desperate for attention, that's the golden ticket. They'll keep balling. We'll keep watching. And if Caitlyn ever decides to go full Joker and walk out with a flamethrower, just know, Sophie will be right behind her, army sauce in one hand, mic in the other, ready to say what everyone else is still too scared to admit.